Hello and welcome. My name is Dana Parker, and I'm from the Butterfly Technique. What I'd like to share with you now is one incredibly powerful stress-busting tool that will begin to retrain your physiology and biochemistry to support you in times of pressure and uncertainty. It's for when you're in that moment, when life feels about to get the best of you, or when you're about to head into something big and you don't feel confident, when it may just feel like a minefield of chaos and conflict. It could be a critical meeting, a presentation to a room full of people, or simply an interaction with someone you have conflict with. Generally, any time you're about to do something that causes you anxiety and that you cannot avoid. This technique can aid you to remain focused and calm. It will help you to get on with the process at that critical time. With regular use, these techniques will in effect train you into the habit of being cool and collected at these vital junctions. So, if you suffer in the lead up to critical events that typically invoke a stress response for you, your subconscious may actually be working to keep you in this stress cycle. Now, while the Butterfly Technique contains a number of programs that can teach you about the stress cycle and how you can use it to serve you, this audio program is specifically designed to introduce you to a simple yet powerfully effective technique that will provide you with a safety net when you're on the edge of the explosive stress response minefield, what we like to call the mindfulness Bombshelter. We find it so easy in this experience called life to form and profess opinions about things. It's an established part of our culture to evaluate everything that we turn our mind to. This habit is a protective mechanism of a kind, a security feature that is well built into our psyche in order to understand whether or not a situation or a person may be a threat to us. It becomes especially the case when we perceive that we're about to head into something stressful. This response we have to stress is usually well ingrained in our subconscious mind. While we often convince ourselves that it's our conscious mind that is in control of most of our responses, this is generally untrue. At times of stress, our brains are actually geared to divert energy away from our conscious structures and towards the subconscious structures. And as such, typically responses to stressors are emotional in nature. Our subconscious mind is also a part of the mind that has been trained by our past experiences. They are behavioural patterns that have been repeated over time and that have been cultivated into a habit and now occurs without conscious thought. That means that sometimes we simply cannot control the initial instinctive response to stress. What it also means is that the emotional responses we experience towards events and people do not really occur in the present time. That is, it is usually a reflection of our history and not a response to the real environment in the now. Another aspect of the stress response is that the mind is programmed to find and focus on problems, not solutions. It does so that it might avoid repeating them. So when we are heading into a situation that we feel uncertain about, our mind will scan for problems and gears up for a potential fight, flight, or freeze response for any potentially negative outcomes. But here's the thing. If we head into a situation focusing on the potential for a negative outcome, the chances of experiencing a negative outcome is almost guaranteed. Thus, this is a form of self-sabotage, and the cycle of negative expectation and outcome continues. Research suggests that roughly 90% of all of your thoughts are the product of conditioning from your past and are the consequence of subconscious processes. So unless you learn to counteract the stress response at vital junctions of conflict, you are actually training yourself to remain physically and psychologically distressed every single time, and to stay that way. As conflict is unavoidable in our modern world, such programming that is designed to protect you may actually stop you from achieving success. So, to counteract this, the more we practice mindfulness exercises, the more successful we can be. So here's how it works. You're about to head into a situation that did not go well last time, or you feel the weight of possible failure heading into a meeting. Our tendency to remember past stressful situations can make this situation feel like you're about to head into the middle of a large storm, a huge tempest. So what would happen if at that point, instead of looking directly at the storm, we took steps back to look at the tempest from above? Does the storm look so dangerous to you now? Usually this distance gives us perspective, and the situation stops belonging to us. Once you can see the big picture, you'll stop identifying with the torment, and the emotional response will lessen. Your mind continues then to have access to its problem-solving centers, and your chances of a successful outcome will increase. This is the power of mindfulness. Now, mindfulness has become a bit of a buzzword of late. Why? Because there is now so much research supporting it as a tool to rival meditation. Yet it can be more practical than meditation because it can be used in the moment. The main way this differs from meditation is that you can practice your mindfulness techniques anywhere without fear of disruption or without having to take time aside out of your busy day to establish a quiet and uninterrupted space. Mindfulness is an aspect of meditation in that they both focus on bringing your awareness to the present, into the now. So what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is merely the process of actively directing your attention to observing. It is an awareness process rather than an intellectual thinking process. It is the act of noticing and learning to do so without identifying with the act. It is observing the act without making a judgment about what's going on around you. Thus, the practice of mindfulness trains our minds out of the judgment space and into the awareness space without the intellectualized labeling commentary. Well, how do we practice mindfulness? The way we approach mindfulness is in redirecting our attention and broadening our focus on different aspects of the experience in the now. We are setting an intention to open up our perception and approach the situation with curiosity. For curiosity naturally inspires a new pattern of thought and openness of thought that avoids invoking a negative emotional response. So, for example, if you're about to head into a meeting and you're beginning to feel distressed, ask yourself, how does the floor feel beneath my feet? Are you carrying something in your hands? What color is it? What does the texture feel like? What do you hear in the background around you? Try and describe the situation in real time. Ask questions and indulge your curiosity. Mindfulness can get you out of emotional states that represent past negative experiences, that is our history, and into the creative space, which is fulfilling and laden with the achievement in the now. This will help you to survive the stress minefield. The more you watch your thoughts, the less you identify with them and the less power they have to sabotage you. Being curious also allows the inner self to become fascinated rather than fearful of the situation. Once you are in this flow state of mindfulness, there are no hurdles or blocks to accessing your thinking centers, or that shut off your body's chemical reward response, like dopamine. And therefore, you are more likely to succeed in the pursuit at hand. Like everybody, you have trained your subconscious mind through the process of your life to routinely judge and label the world around you. So, it's time to retrain your subconscious to let some things be. That way, your conscious mind will have the room to focus and operate and function in a powerful way according to events as they happen. So, in summary, what are the biggest reasons to practice mindfulness? At times of stress, Our body chemicals change to increase your ability to remember a negative experience and adapts and stores this experience to use in future situations. As your mind is programmed to focus on negative things, to find safety and security, when you find yourself in a position of stress, failure to activate mindfulness strategies is more likely to lead to a stronger stress response in future situations. If, instead, you begin to apply mindfulness techniques when in stress, it allows you to access your higher functioning mind and allows your body to remain where it is and not flooded with chemicals that can potentially lead to adrenal fatigue. It has also been shown to increase neurogenesis, which means you get smarter. That which you do most is what your body remembers. Therefore, if you practice mindfulness, it is easier to get your body and mind to support you mindfully when you need to find a solution to a problem and focus. This practice will, over time, give you a powerful tool that allows you to switch off the panic, the anxiety, the nervousness, and the stress at times when such experiences prevent you from engaging in the moment. It will allow you to get on with the job that you know needs to be done. Over time, the uncertain things you need to face, the conflicts you can see coming, will appear less and less big and scary. You will begin to feel more confident to manage the unpredictable things that come into your life and gain clarity and higher mental function when you need to apply them. Thank you for listening in to this practice. For more information about spiritual products, practices and services, or to schedule a session, you can visit me at www.danaspiritbutterfly.com. That's DANA spiritbutterfly.com. Thank you and good luck with your practice.